What's up, gang, and welcome back to another edition of Road Trippin' with the Roots.
Hi, guys, and if this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much. Please be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and like this video. If you've been riding with us all along, thank you guys so much. We love interacting with everyone. Please be sure to comment down below.
That's right. And today, we're going to be doing a real review of Coming to America Dos.
Yes, so they do it as Coming to America. I thought that was a cute play on things.
Yeah, that was a cute play on things.
If this is your first time tuning in, just so you know, we don't discuss anything. We are silent during the movie. We wait until we're here with you. And let's get started, the real review.
Yeah. Who's going first?
First off, guys, this is complete spoiler.
Alert.
Alert. So we will... You can go first.
Alright, well, so, this movie was everything I was hoping it would not be.
Okay, guys.
100%.
So, I am so glad that you said that. So, as we were watching, first of all, well played by Amazon Prime Video for premiering it a few hours earlier than it should have. First of all, Friday has a lot going on.
Yeah, they knew it too.
The finale of WandaVision.
They knew it.
Be sure to check out our reviews of WandaVision. Then there is it Raya and the Last Dragon?
Yeah.
There's too much going on, and they knew.
They knew. They said, yo, let me get this out. Let me get a head start because...
They knew. So, guys... This was a long anticipated part 2. And really and truly, we didn't need a part 2.
Did not.
The buzz about the part 2 started going. And then it was like, oh, we do need some comic relief. That would be great. Mm-hmm. Coming to America was just itself so epic. And... I just remember there was just so many classic lines and classic characters, and it was just groundbreaking for its time. Mm-hmm. It starred Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, and it did have like a fully loaded cast.
Yeah, it was like the most star-studded cast for...
At the time, right?
I'm talking about this one.
Okay, but I'm talking about like the original. Oh, so the original Coming to America, I think maybe Coming to America created a lot of stars, right? Yep. So that was the first time we ever saw a Mr. Samuel L. Jackson, and he was robbing the McDowells. Mm-hmm. There were just a lot of different
lines
actors
that I can quote from that movie that this one, I don't even know if I'm going to watch it a second time.
Here's the thing. Coming to America, the original, was released in 1988. And
keep it straight.
At the time, we didn't have a lot of all-black movies.
Right.
And we definitely didn't have an African prince. Right? Mm-hmm. This Coming to America, post-Black Panther... just didn't do it. It lacked the comedy.
It was not funny. Tracy Morgan was probably the funniest person in it to me.
So let's break down the cast. So you have Eddie Murphy as the Prince of Zamunda. He married his queen from Queens, Lisa. They have 3 amazing daughters. Mm-hmm. The middle daughter is actually Eddie Murphy's real-life daughter. Yep. So I thought that was cool. Yep. You had Simi, a.k.a. Arsenio Hall. Mm-hmm. You had James Earl Jones reprise his role as King of Zamunda.
That's right.
You had Wesley Snipes as...
General ZZ.
General
Aziz, something like that.
Yeah. And he actually was the general of... And I thought that the name was pretty funny. He was the general of... Nextdoria,
yeah.
Right? And I don't know if that was the name of it the first time, because his sister actually was supposed to marry Eddie Murphy originally, or
Prince
Hakeem originally in the first one. So Vanessa Bell Calloway revised her role as whatever you like. So I'm trying to give you those vibes, guys.
Good job.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Leslie Jones come in as the baby mama, which I thought was great. Tracy Morgan as her brother, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Lunel, who was, a friend of Queen's. And then you had the gentleman that played his son. And had you ever seen him before?
No.
Okay, so this is going to kill you. So Jermaine Fowler plays his son. I never saw him before, so I thought he was actually in Judas and the Black Messiah. We'll link our review there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember him. I guess he's a comedian. He wasn't funny. Overall, what happens is James Earl Jones is on his deathbed, tells Eddie Murphy, you have a son, because he needs a male heir. You have a son, he's in Queens. Eddie Murphy goes back to Queens. And it was not.
Right. Even my guys in the barbershop, they were funny, but they weren't as funny.
So here, okay. So this is what I was going to say.
Are we a prisoner of our own memories of the original?
A prisoner of our memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that we know so many one-liners, but if we were to watch it again, would it be super offensive, like some of the movies that we've been going back to watch?
I don't care about that part, but go ahead.
I just mean like, no, I do, because would it be like, okay, was it funny because I was young and it's like taboo to watch, but now I'd be like,
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's only one way to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it. He goes to Queens to get his son. His son comes and he's like, I'm going to bring Queens to Zamunda, which, shout out to my peeps in Queens. I don't think he's from Queens. Okay? He wasn't giving me any Queens vibes. The time they spent in Queens was way too short.
Yeah. It was gentrified, though, when they got
yeah, they talked about gentrification. I think one of the things that I loved was John Amos's role in the original, and I felt like this one just fell flat. And I don't know if they were filming. Comment down below if you know if they were filming during the pandemic and everyone was shook, and maybe that played a part in it. It just, in the words of Roland Ray, it wasn't even given what it was supposed to give. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And for me,
some things should just be left.
Left alone.
Yeah.
So I think it was like, man, you had an amazing cast. You had Michael Blackston do the intro for Wesley Snipes, which could have been funny, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
You had Wesley Snipes, who I love watching him be a little comedic. You had Tiana Taylor as his daughter, which that should have been, great. You had Rick Ross doing a horrible accent, which, sidebar, guys, that's the accent that Corey does.
You're crazy.
That's the offensive accent that Corey does.
My African accent is the greatest.
No, thank you.
I'll do the rest of this real review in my accent. You don't give it props.
No, thank you. So wait a minute. No, listen. Hold on. The soundtrack was good. This is where we were at with it, right? I was grabbing straws. I was just like holding on to anything. The soundtrack was good, but it lacked tapping into the Afrobeat. Like, there was some missed potential there, I mean, we gotta listen to the real soundtrack, though. Guys. So, wait a minute. Let me just go back. This was giving me Eddie Murphy in Haunted Mansion vibes, and I didn't need it. And after he did Dolomite, and him and Wesley Snipes, and their energy was so good with Dolomite, I was expecting that level of a performance. Yep.
I think maybe if they would have went away and did like a different storyline, or if they would have just used that same cast and just do another movie, a different movie. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Just do another comedy.
So this was the whole thing. So Eddie Murphy had to go to Queens to bring his son back so that his son could be his heir, because James Earl Jones had passed on, the king of Zamunda, and he was worried about Eddie being the king and not having an heir to pass it down to. So very similar to the first one, where Eddie runs to Queens. He brings his son back. His son is supposed to marry Tiana Taylor, who's Wesley Snipes' daughter. He does not want to. He wants to marry his royal hairstylist, right? And so they run back to Queens. And then Eddie Murphy, very much so like James Earl Jones, goes to Queens to bring his son back. I love the fact that she wanted to like start her own shop, and they had mentioned like a tribute to the barbershop. So, you know, shout out to them for that. But it wasn't a love story to me. It was all over the place, guys. It really, really was. It wasn't a love story to me. It wasn't a comedy to me. And when I say they spared no expense. So for like James Earl Jones' funeral, having Morgan Freeman there, having In Vogue there.
They had
having
the God level voices. They had both gods of voices.
It was confusing,
in the
guys.
Same scene.
I did not know which God to praise. Okay?
And listen,
that was confusing.
Cold though. I ain't gonna front.
It was so crazy that, forgive me for saying this, I was relieved that James Earl Jones was dead in that scene and wasn't talking, because if they were both talking, I'm out. I would have been confused.
That was cold though. I would, if I could do it, I would definitely plan my own funeral and die at it. That was cold.
Right. So James Earl Jones says, you know what? My funeral needs to be grand. Matter of fact, I want to be there. And so he's standing there in a casket, and he does end up dying. But Morgan Freeman is like doing the This Is Your Life. So that voice was crazy. You had a performance by In Vogue and Salt and Pepper. And then Gladys Knight sung Midnight Train to Zamunda, to which he passed on. So dying at your funeral is a major key.
That's, if you could ever plan it, that would be the way to go.
Right. I thought it was funny though. His son, there were hints to different movies. So I love the fact that there was a tribute to Trading Places. There was an SNL cast member, Colin Yost, who was in there. So Eddie tapped into his SNL roots.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And it was great to see. I love seeing him and Arsenio together. Recently, Corey and I went back to some of the SNL favorite clips, and Arsenio's actually in there.
Yeah.
With the buckwheat being shot. Guys, if you ever wonder what we're watching when we're not doing real reviews, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Road Trippin' with the Roots, because we will be doing short reviews. We'll be doing reels. So anyway, so it was good to see them do that. I thought it interesting that the hairstylist did his son's hair very Killmonger-like. Kind of like a nod to the fact that...
I didn't pick up on that, but now that you say that...
Yeah, it was giving me Killmonger vibes, and it's like this, the American son returns home. So I liked that.
Well, Zamunda is just west of Wakanda, so...
Listen... Well, it needs to take notes from Wakanda because it fell short. I thought it was funny that we were waiting and waiting. I guess that's another thing. We were waiting for moments to be repeated, and instead they did a twist, and it was like, no, thank you for the twist. So, like, we were waiting for him to sing Queen to Be, and instead he started singing Princes Get Off. And how'd you feel about that?
I felt like that was John Legend. He was just my man was lip singing. It wasn't even him singing.
Well, now I wonder if that was him to begin with in the original.
Right.
But still, I thought the Get Off song was weird.
Yeah.
And I love Prince. And, was it a play on him being a prince?
Maybe. I don't know. It was a play on making me about to turn the TV off. It was what it was a play on.
It just really, guys. I don't even know. They had Trevor Noah on as a part of ZNN. And I still, Trevor Noah...
They had some heavy hitters,
That's the thing. Trevor Noah could be dead serious and still be hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Just to give you, some understanding of that. So, for Trevor Noah to not be funny... I thought the de-aging and the CGI was terrible for 2021.
Yo.
Not when I could see Kurt Russell de-age, or what was it? Was it Kurt Russell? Who plays Guardians of the Galaxy? Who plays the dad?
Yeah.
Kurt Russell. Not when I could see de-aging like that. Listen, guys, black don't crack. We don't need that much de-aging.
No, it was like they used the one app on your phone. Like the face.
First of all,
the face swap app. That's what it looked like. They did.
Eddie, I know that you have Will Smith's number. How hard would it have been to call him and say, hey, who'd you use for Gemini Man? Who'd you use?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I don't want to bash it too hard, but I'm just saying it wasn't that great of a movie for, 30 years of writing. You could have wrote for 30 years.
And that lion?
Over 30 years.
Hold on. That lion? You've got to be lying. To me. I could not. And
I think that's the most disappointing part, right? It was mad anticipated. Like, okay, finally they're gonna do it. But it's one of those things where when the window closed, don't open it back up. The window was closed.
I think that there was so much anticipation for it because they started the rumor mill of, hey, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? And
there's a whole bunch of people out here that was born after 88. Hear us talking so great about coming to America.
And they're like...
And then they see this flopper.
So, and I think about it. Eddie Murphy has always had, for the most part, has had a good run with sequels. I think about Another 48 Hours. I think about Beverly Hills Cop 2. I just...
It was, and if you don't know about this, it put me right in the mind of when they tried to do Coming to America TV show. They shot one pilot episode of it. Check it out on YouTube. Coming to America, the TV show.
Guys, Tommy Davidson was his brother.
And he came to America just to do the same thing like they did in this movie. And that was trash.
And the thing is that if Eddie Murphy calls you, you show up, right? Mm-hmm. And it's evident in the lineup. And yet, I don't know who he used as the writers. I guess that's the thing.
Yeah, it was kind of...
Like, the writers, guys, I wish we could be cracking up.
I wanted it to be great.
Listen.
I really did. I don't want to be sitting here bashing my man's movie.
Do you know how excited I get when I see fellow wonderful women with large foreheads on the big screen? I root for us differently, guys. I pulled my hair back. You see this. Because I wanted to win. One time for Lisa. I will say this.
It was just one of those, dang, look how old they got. That's what it was to me. Look how old they got.
It wasn't that to me. Leslie was funny.
Leslie?
I love me some Leslie Jones and Tracy Morgan.
Was the highlight of the whole movie to me. He was funny.
They weren't on enough.
No.
And it just, guys, listen. Comment down below if we're missing something. I would say this. Don't waste your time. If you did watch it, let us know what your thoughts are.
They even put it out there for free. That was free. And I see.
You know what? Every Wednesday, there's a bunch of free stuff on the curb. It's called Trash Day. You don't see me scouring around for that.
Dang. Tell them why you mad, son.
I'm glad I didn't open up my gourmet popcorn for this one. I will save it for the other shows. I really was rooting for Eddie.
I was.
Because it had such a crappy run of movies. And when I saw Dolomite, I was like, okay, Eddie's back.
Yep.
No. Maybe if he had more of a comedic son, I don't know. Who do you think should have played the future prince of Zamunda?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. Let me think here. You might not like this answer.
Who?
Jay Farrell.
I would have loved to see Jay Farrell there. And in fact, that would have been a no-brainer. Jay Farrell and the other guy that had the show that I loved.
Oh, Carmichael?
Yes. What's his first name?
I don't know.
So, Jay Farrell, I would have absolutely been game for that. Gerard Carmichael.
Even Michael Che.
Michael Che. Well, yeah, I think Jay Farrell would have been better. I think. So, here's the thing, too, and I don't mean to slam Gerard
I'd even take Keenan's homie.
No.
The funny-looking dude.
Sorry, I don't mean to slam Jermaine Fowler. We have not seen Sorry to Bother You. I understand he was in that. I don't know where he was in Judas and the Black Messiah.
He bothered me tonight. He had the Tyler Perry wig on in the beginning. Like, that was, I was like...
It did give me Tyler Perry vibes. Guys, I'm sorry, I hate to say that. I thought it was funny. You know what? I would like to see more of Nextdoria. Like, when they were working out with the shake weights and stuff, that comedy, that dynamic. And Eddie Murphy's daughters were completely badass. I would have liked to see more of them.
I'd have liked to see more of the behind the scenes. I bet you that was way funnier than the actual movie.
So, is Eddie Murphy... has he lost his edge? And when I think about comedians...
Well, that's the thing. What was this rated? Do you know?
We rated T for trash. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I think of established
I'm
comedians.
Just saying, the original Coming to America was rated R.
I think of Dave Chappelle. I think of, let me see what the rating is.
Right there. PG-13. That explains it all.
Know your audience, guys. Okay? The PG-13 crew is not checking for this movie.
At all.
At all. So you could have given us pure, unadulterated Randy Watson.
We could bring Ava in here right now. Ava, tell
She's not going to watch it. And I will crack up. I did.
And she loves Norbit.
She loves... Okay. So that was another thing, too. Was it that Eddie has made so many movies that his characters are all blending in? Because there were times when I was getting crazy Norbit vibes.
Yes.
Crazy Clumps vibes.
Yeah.
Just
from Randy Watson, though. Randy Watson was weird to me.
Well, Randy Watson is actually Arsenio Hall, though.
No. Randy Watson's Eddie.
Is he Eddie?
And Arsenio's the preacher.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Listen, guys. So... he sung We Are Family, which is my jam. Shout out to Sister Sledge. And it just was a mess. Like, it wasn't as funny as his take on I Believe the Children Are Our Future.
Mm-mm.
I just...
It was more like a victory lap movie. You know, if you get what I'm saying?
No,
nah, listen. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like... Coming to America was so great. Okay, here's our victory lap, but it just
no, thank you.
Failed.
No, I wouldn't even give it that. Overall, how many tires?
We doing that? 2.
Overall, guys, it's a unicycle for me.
I was being generous. I'll give them 2.
It's a unicycle. Now, I will listen to the soundtrack again. They did have some good stuff, so I want to hear that. I don't need to see the movie again.
Yo, as I'm watching it, I knew I'm not watching it again. I knew that already.
Where I could watch the original.
Right now.
Right now. So, guys, that's what we are going to do. If you haven't seen this one, please go watch the original. And if you have seen this one, let us know if we're missing something else. But you know what? If you've already seen this and you're watching us, we are not going to take up any more of your time on this movie.
Yeah, kudos to you, by the way.
Yeah. Until the next time, guys.
Keep tripping in America.
Bye, guys.